walking down the track, I've got tears in my eyes, trying to read a letter from my home. If this train runs me right, I'll be home tomorrow night, 'cause I'm 900 miles from my home.
Hi, I'm the Offender. I hope that's okay with you. My friends, welcome to Never Played, the series where I go over games that, well, I've never played before, and I play them, so I can finally get it out of my system. Wizardry is a series I've known about since I was a kid. I'd heard about it, never really saw it until years later in 1990s when they came out with a Wizardry 1 through 6 collection. And even then I still didn't get a chance to play it because I was busy with work and the like. And there's different versions we could be playing. We could be going with the Apple II version, which I was really tempted by because we could cheat like heck and make this game a lot faster and easier. But I decided to go with the Super Nintendo version because it looks the nicest. It's got music. The other versions, I'm going to try to splice in the video about how those ones looked. Because I played a little bit before I started on this one just to see which one I want to do. The Apple version has a lot of clutter in Windows. There's a Macintosh version with a ton of windows all around, so that's one option. There's the DOS version, which I think looks the most primitive. Of course, it's the most basic version of them all. But the Super Nintendo version has something I really like. It's got this music, it's got some actual graphical pictures in it. I mean, let's face it, the first game was made in 1981, so there wasn't really a whole lot to say about how the game is going to look. Whereas here, we got more to work with. So, let's start off with the proving grounds of the Mad Overlord. Now, I've played this enough of here to get an introduction. I've done some reading. I'm trying as hard as I can not to spoil myself, but the fact is, this game is now, goodness, over 30 years old. So odds are there's probably stuff in this game that I may have heard about or run across. Now, the first thing you have to do when starting this game is you have to make your characters. So we have the castle. The castle is where we start off and build up our team. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody. No, we've got nobody. Now, the game does come with some default, fighter, healer, mages, that kind of thing. We're going to roll our own. So to make that, we go in the training grounds, and we create our team. So first, what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to give this guy a name of Zero, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, create this character? Sure. Who's he going to be? Let's make him a dwarf. Good. Now, here's where the first part of the game will take you forever. Because you got to create your character. But as you can see, these are the very basic stats. All dwarves start off this way. If we had picked a human, the human stats are things like 8, 8, 8, 8, something like that. But all dwarves start off this way, and then you got your bonus points. This guy, not good enough. No. Try again. So now we're going to create another dwarf. Now, oh, this is much better. Look at those bonus points. 17 bonus points. Now we're cooking with grease. Now this guy, he's just going to be a fighter. He's going to be a fighter forever and ever and ever. So I'm not going to stress about that. So the question is, do we keep this guy or not? I'm really tempted. 17 bonus points is really nice. But no, we're going to burn ourselves. And the goal is we want to have at least 20 points before we start. Now, as I was just kind of messing around with this here to do this, I think the best I ever saw was 20. When doing the reading, oops, oh, hold on, accidentally made that guy. So the best I've ever seen was 20, but it's entirely possible that maybe we can get something higher if we're lucky. I think the minimum is 5. Now, rather than me sitting here for the next several hours boring you with me going over this over and over again, because this might take literally forever. Well, not literally forever, because I mean, if it was forever, then you know, this would be like the longest show in the history of the world. And really, who wants to make the longest show be about some guy trying to create characters in the game of Wizardry? But from these bonus points alone, it's going to take a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off camera. I'm going to roll them with the party. And I'm going to keep on going until I get everybody the way I want them to be. So I'll be back. Catch you in a little bit, guys. Okay, and we are back. Alright, that was a lot of reloading and everything else. So let me show you what we got going on here. So say hello, first of all, to Zeppelin. He's going to be our fighter. He's going to stay a fighter the entire time. So I maxed out his strength and his vitality scores. Everything here is really based on the old Dungeons & Dragons stuff, which, you know, agree or disagree, it was, for 1981, that's what everybody played. If you were making a game about fantasy stuff, you went Dungeons & Dragons. You used the stats, you used the character styles, you used the classes, and that's what we're rolling with. Now, there are some different things. We've got Schlurps, he's a fighter, another fighter. Eventually, I hope to class change him. There is some class changing in this game. There is a downside, though, in that when you class change, your characters age. And when your characters hit about 50 years of age, they start to break down and die, I guess. So that's something we want to avoid. We have Maria. She's going to be our priest, so I had to make sure that she had a high piety, but also want to make sure she could hit stuff, too. She's going to stay in the front row. These three folks, front row people. Steve, here's our bishop. Mainly his job is to be the backup guy. He's going to eventually be able to get some priest spells as well as mage spells, and they differentiate between the two. Again, if you play Dungeons & Dragons, priest stuff tends to be more your buffs, increase your strength, decrease your armor class, and this kind of thing, while at the same, or increasing your other things like your health and whatnot. So, if you've ever played a game like that, you might get the idea. If you haven't, I'll try to walk it through as we go along. Sarai is going to be interesting. I'm making her my thief. And the main reason is that if something goes on and we need to unlock some chests or whatever, you need to have a thief in your party, or a rogue is perhaps the more politically correct term. But eventually, I hope to turn her into a ninja, because from what I read, ninjas can really do a lot of damage, and they don't need armor to reduce their armor class. So armor class, let me go into that real quick. Her armor class is 10, which means if something tries to hit her, there's a pretty good chance it will. 10 is the worst. The further down it goes, the harder you are to hit. I guess the idea is it's like a negative percentage. You know, if you have right now, there's a 100% chance you're going to hit her. If her armor class goes down to 9, there's only a 90% chance you're going to hit her. You know, it's not exactly 1-to-1, but that's kind of the idea. All right, and lastly, Dave, bring him to the rear. He's an elf, and he is our mage, so he's going to be doing our magic. At first, if you've played, again, any kind of fantasy game, magic users at first don't have a whole lot of ability, and they're like tissue. They die fast and easy. But as they level up, they get access to more powerful magics. If you keep alive long enough, well, then they do okay. So let's add folks in. Now, luckily I set it up so I can just go like that, and there they all are in the party. I do find it amusing that Maria has more hit points than Zeppelin and Schlurps. Alright. So our fighters are not as strong as our priest is. She's got those Michelle Obama arms as she comes on through. Alright, but now what we need to do is get them outfitted. So, Zeppelin. Everybody give Zeppelin your gold, and then let's see what we get. So we need a weapon. Oh, all sorts of neat stuff. Swords, can't afford any of it. But we'll start with the longsword. Great. And then we need some armor. So get something nice for him. Now, for right now, we don't want to go crazy because we don't have a ton of money. So what we'll do is just get some chainmail and get a large shield. Okay. Helm of Evil. I don't think that's going to be helping us out. Alright, and what's that? Oh, we can't afford that. Oh. I think that's all we can do. Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and go to Schlurps, do the same thing. Give them all the gold. They're both fighters, so they'll get the exact same stuff. Chainmail, large shield, and a helm. Okay. Now it's Maria's turn. Now Maria, being a priest, she's got rules about what she can wield. So for whatever reason, she can't use a sword. I guess the idea is that no, you're a priest, you cannot shed blood. Oh, hold on, I forgot to pull the gold. There we go. Which is kind of silly, because let's face it, if you hit someone across the head with a mace, there's some bloodshed. I'm just saying, it's just how it works. Okay, we'll give her a shield. And she cannot use a helm. Okay. Who's next? Steve? Steve, what do you got? Steve can use even less as a bishop, I guess. Oh, I'm so holy, I can't possibly, debase myself. At least we can give him a small shield. No helms. Okay. Sarai. It would be nice to get her some nicer stuff later on, but for now, this is all we can afford. And we're running out of money as it is, so let's just get through. Just enough for David. Really, he's never going to be doing any fighting, so we'll just get him the most basic armor. Okay. So let's go ahead and now take a look at everybody. Get them equipped. Nice. So mentioned I talk about armor class. So right now, Schlurp's armor class is 3. Let's go to Maria. So she's at 10. Give her the mace, the chainmail, and the shield. Now she's down to 4. So she's that much harder to hit. Not much right at home like Steve here. He's even easier to hit. And of course, David, I mean, if I put him in the front row, he would just be dead spell. Alright, that's our team. That's everybody. So, I think it's time we stepped into the dungeons. See what we can find. Alright. So here's where we start off in the game, inside the maze itself. Now, why are we going through this maze? If you read the manual, it boils down to, there's an evil wizard. Go get him. Okay. We don't want to take the stairs. So like I said, if you take a look at the DOS version of this, these are just lines. No graphics at all. So this looks so much nicer. Yep, okay. Right, let's go ahead and, before we go open up any doors, let's make sure we got the entire hallway mapped out. Okay, pretty simple. Now, this also takes, and I think that the other games kind of borrowed as well. If you've played a game like such as Dragon Warrior or the first Final Fantasy games, random battles. You're walking along and then boom, random battles. Wizardry has the same thing, not nearly as often. More likely than not is when you go into a room and then you meet something in here, like a bunch of orcs. Alright. Fighting's pretty simple. Only the people in the front row can fight. Everybody else can just either parry. Now, in Sarai's case, she's got one extra thing. She can hide. Now, that's something that, as I was reading, it didn't come in until, like, Wizardry 5, but since this is the Super Nintendo version, they were able to add it in. Alright. So, Sarai, take a look at this. Oh, no traps? Great. What's inside? Money! Alright, check all the walls. Okay, great. Now, here's the other nice thing. As I was reading as to why we went with the Super Nintendo version and not with the old DOS version. So Dave, let's see what spells you've got. Spell. Nothing you can use. Okay. Right, let's just read. What spells do you have? Okay, so let's explain these. These are basically a fire spell and a sleep spell. Dave will eventually get another spell called Doom-a-Pick. And I was agreeing that should let you do the map. Now, the old games, there was no auto-mapping. You made your own maps, got out your graph paper, and just did it yourself. At least with the Super Nintendo version, auto-map is included, and that'll make things a lot easier. Let's see what's in here. Oh, now they surprise us. Uh-oh. Oh man. Okay, so Maria's a little hurt. But Maria's got another ability. Her Dispel can get rid of things that are undead. So go with that. So she got... The good side is that it gets rid of them. The bad side is you lose all the experience points you would have gotten. Great, so that I check that out. So the first part of the game is just this. You go in, you go out. You go in, you go out. Skeletons, alright, let's fight these guys. Maria, dispel some of these. I mean, I don't want to lose all the experience points, but anything I can do to get rid of these guys faster is good. Okay, now, as you recall, Sarai had her hide ability as a thief. Well, if she's hidden, now she can attack with the back row. So that gives her a lot, some extra potential. Okay, check it out, and nothing's in there. Okay, we'll check the walls. Oh. Now here's something else. Sometimes you run into friendly folks. Now if you fight them, I was reading in the manual that it can turn you evil. I guess fighting friendly people makes you kind of a bad guy. But we're going to leave them alone. And if you're evil, leaving alone friendly people makes you into a good guy. Not immediately, but it's kind of like a random chance of it happening. Alright. Looks like some small humanoids. We haven't identified them yet. That's fine, because they dead. And now they're gone. Alright. Great. So now we're just going to wander for a little bit. Everybody's pretty healed up. We could let Maria heal herself, but, in fact, let's do that now. Hey, Maria? Cast this healing spell on yourself. Oh, didn't quite heal her. Try it again. Well, while we're at it, let's show you this. So how do we get those spells back? This is the old Dungeons and Dragons style. If you notice, that M and that P that stands for Mage and Priest, those are how many spells you can actually cast. So in this case, she had 2 pre-spells. Once you've cast them, that's it, they're gone. Well, how do you get them back? Well, go to the inn. Now, there's different options here. You can spend more money to stay longer, but when you do, that ages you. So all you want to do is just stay at the stables. You naps. She needs more experience to get to another level. But now, if we go back into the maze, and we take a look at her, she's got those 2 pre-spells back. So that's all we have to do is to get them back. Is get all the way back to the inn, take a nap. I'll be honest, I never quite understood how that worked in the D&D world. I mean, this idea that, well, you can memorize this thing, but once you've used it, it no longer works. Oh, they all ran away. Alright. What I should do is just find a single spot. And if you've ever played, like, Final Fantasy or the like, you know what I mean is that you just go back and forth. You find a spot, and you go back, and you go forth. You go back, and you go forth. And you keep doing that until this. Now, here's something else. So, if you notice, we surprise them, so we get the first crack at them. But we can't cast any magic spells when we surprise them. So, which is fine. We haven't had to use our magic yet. And these guys are going down pretty quick. But that would be nice if we surprised them, and then our mages can do their thing. But anyway, I never understood this notion of Dungeons & Dragons that you can only cast a spell so many times, and then you've forgotten it. I guess you could say that, well, that, you get so tired, but then there's levels, so you can have so many spells of a certain level. So if you're a level 5 character, you get like 4 level 1 spells and 2 level 2 spells, and on and on and on. It's like, oh, that seems kind of just arbitrary. At least something like the manas. Uh-oh. Okay, now that's not good. We just got triggered. And not the kind as in, oh noes, I heard something that made me feel bad. But as in, Sarai is paralyzed, and she's going to stay that way. So, I guess I was reading the manual. The only way to fix this is anytime your characters are out of commission, you go to the temple. It's going to cost 100 pieces of gold to cure her. And this is true also if she's paralyzed, if she's cursed, or if she dies. If that happens, then you're just kind of stuck. And then you got to re-add her. So, okay. She's back in the team. Okay, so we continue on our way. Now what my plan is to least... Schlurps died. Schlurps just died. Oh my gosh. This is even worse. So now... Well, I guess now we can show how this works. Oh, good grief. Okay, now she's poisoned. We have to get out of here. No! Oh, my good grief. We just lost 2 people. And it cost 250 gold to bring them back. Okay, Zeppelin. Okay, and then this can happen too. If it doesn't work, then they turn to ash. And which means they're really dead. Well, let's at least try to bring back Sodai. We don't even have enough gold. We're already in trouble. We have to get enough gold now to get back our characters. And I don't want to re-roll them. I just got them in. I mean, I did save this Super Nintendo file so I could get it back, but oh, good grief. And they surprised me. Really? They surprised me. Let's at least get these guys down. I guess Zeppelin, you can inspect it? Muddy, what do you think it is? Oh, no, no, no! Oh, no. Just out in time. This is so bad. I can see now why people say years later about how difficult these games are. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm already screwed. Well, I guess we can level up. Let's go and level up. So, Zeppelin, why don't you stay? Yeah, okay, great. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Maria, that little @ symbol, that means she can level up too. So, Maria, what happens to you? Okay. I'm good with this so far. Steve, how about you? Why don't you take a sleep? You lost strength. You can lose stat points on this. Okay. You can lose stat points while leveling up, which means you want to save your game. Yeah, how do you save your game? Well, it's pretty simple. You just go to the edge of town, and that saved it right there. Either way, we're not going to do this. I'm going to re-roll these. I'm going to get some things going back in. We're going to try this again. So after a disastrous starting area, we're going to try again and see if we can find out just exactly how to keep going. So, folks, I'm the Offender. I hope this has been okay with you. Catch you next time.